my most amazing beachside artists. I'm showing you a time-lapse video, meaning a sped-up video, of your art teacher, Mrs. Q, designing the new beachside mascot, and that is the Seaturtle. I started out sketching it light in my sketchbook until I got it right. Then I traced over my pencil lines with a Sharpie and erased any of the pencil lines to clean it up, and then got to color it in. And then we have our Seaturtle that is now representing us as our new Beachside Elementary. So to start out our year of art with, I thought I would show you how to draw our school mascot, the Beachside Seaturtle. So you'll have a drawing guide on your table, as well as you'll be getting supplies from your cart when I call your number. But right now, you could get a piece of paper and one of those guides from the middle of your table. You don't need to get up quite yet for anything else. We're going to get those supplies when I call your number. Now, when you do get the supplies, you're going to have a bin on your cart, either 1 or 2 for seat 1 or seat 2, and it's going to have pencils, erasers, Sharpies, pencil sharpener, coloring supplies, all kinds of stuff that you can use today when you're working on your art. Just make sure we're using the supplies the right way. If you're using a pencil sharpener, please only use it when your pencil really needs to be sharpened. You have 2 pencils in case one breaks or gets dull, and you need another one quickly. And just like that, if your eraser runs out, you have a big eraser, or actually 2 big erasers. So you have plenty of supplies, so you should not need anything else from me today because these are all brand new. We want to keep them as nice as possible because I give you the best art supplies, and I even trust you with permanent markers. So you even have 4 permanent markers, 2 big and 2 small. You'll notice the difference here. One has a much larger tip and one has a very ultra fine tip for detailed drawings. Notice the difference between the two because you are an artist and you get to choose which one of the 2 you use in your art. Just make sure that you are not pressing down too hard and you always put the cap back on and hear the click. If they dry out, you don't get more, and that's when I take away things like Sharpies or things like permanent markers or really cool supplies if we can't treat them properly. So today I'm giving you as many as I can just to draw our Seaturtle. And just make sure you show me that you can respect our art supplies and we'll be good and be able to use all kinds of cool things this year. Now I'm going to be drawing step by step, but you also have a guide on your table. If you would like to follow along with the guide, you can, but I would suggest following along with me in the video, at least for the first Seaturtle. Then after that, you can use more pieces of paper to draw more. If you make a mistake, we're going to try to turn it into a happy accident, or just use your eraser. That's why I would recommend using a pencil. I also recommend starting with your paper horizontally. That's long ways side to side, not tall up and down. So horizontal paper so you have lots of room to draw because our Seaturtle is more wide. It's taking up space the long way. Every paper in art class, you need to make sure you write your name and class code. It's super important because there's a lot of projects that we're going to be doing and working on where you leave them in class. I need to make sure I always know who it belongs to because no name, no fame. You don't put your name in class code, you don't get the fame. To start out with, I'm going to be drawing a big arch and not a teeny tiny one. If you draw teeny tiny in the middle of your paper today, that would defeat the purpose of giving you a giant paper. So please make sure that you draw really big. I even ghost drawed with my pencil, pretending to draw first to get an idea of where I'm going to draw my paper. I'm drawing light with my pencil till I get it right. Whenever I draw something with pencil and then outline it with Sharpie, that's your turn to go ahead and draw that step on your paper. So go ahead and draw your big arch in the middle of your paper. I would suggest waiting until after you're all done to use the Sharpie. I'm just doing it so that you can see it well on the screen and giving you time to go. I can always pause the video if you need time to catch up, or you could check your drawing guide. We're now going on to step number 2. Now, watch first for step 2. I'm going to find the right side of my bottom of my arch and make another smaller arch. This time, it goes down a little bit deeper than my last one, and then stops. Go ahead and use your pencil to draw another smaller arch at the end of your big arch. Remember, I'm just using the Sharpie so that you can see it well. I would recommend using your Sharpie when you're all done. If you use a Sharpie now and you make a mistake, you can't erase. However, if you use pencil, you can erase. You could even flip it over. If you use Sharpie and flip it over, it bleeds through the paper. We like to save trees in here, so please make sure we're trying to use one piece of paper at a time, completing our best sea turtle each time. And if you don't like it, then you can do another one when you're done. We don't crumple up papers in here and throw them away because we like to save our trees. Now I'm going to go ahead and do a curve. A curve kind of like a smile. Now there's going to be more to this smile than just a line. So now I'm going to bring that curve down a little bit right here at the corner. And stop. Notice that that mouth doesn't go all the way to the edge. I'm going to go ahead and outline it and you can draw yours. Now I'm going to connect that mouth right there. Not all the way to the edge where the nose is though. Then I'm going to carefully take my pencil and draw the outline of where the mouth goes around and connects to the neck. That's like the chin if we were a sea turtle, right under the mouth. Go ahead and draw the chin of the sea turtle. I don't even know. Do you call it a chin when it's a sea turtle? Do they have chins? I have no idea. All right, after you go ahead and draw that line, now I'm going to be moving on to the next step. That step is step number 6. Now for step number 6, I'm starting out the eye. But the eye is more than just a little dot, more than just a circle. I'm going to be doing that upside down U shape, or kind of like the lowercase letter N, a big rainbow arch. Ready, and why am I not drawing it? That was awkward. All right, so after I draw that big rainbow arch, I just wanted to make sure I got it in the right place. Then I'm going to be connecting some lines to it to make it look more like a real cartoon eye. Yeah, real cartoon eye. I know that doesn't sound like it's right, but you get me. Do you get me? I don't know. Then I'm going to draw another arch. Wow, there's lots of arches here. Holy moly. And another arch. One on top for kind of like the eyebrow, and one on the bottom to show where he's smiling. And that cheek kind of touches the eye there and makes it look like he's smiling and happy. Then I'm going to go ahead and outline over so you can see it. But again, try to wait till the end to outline with Sharpie. Now I'm doing one more arch on the inside and another one. This time, I'm kind of coloring in, but leaving one oval in the middle for that little highlight in the eye. The black part of it is the pupil, the little white part's the highlight, and the rest of it is the eye. Then I draw a little dot for one of the nose holes. I don't know, is that what you call them, nose holes? Nostrils, that's what it would be. Then a little M in there to show where the tongue is, can color in the part of the inside of the mouth, the deep dark within where it swallows all of the food it eats, like shrimp and little fishies. I think that's what sea turtles eat. I need to learn more about sea turtles. Then I'm going to add some details like that little line at the edge of the mouth to show it's smiling, lots of emotion. Lines show emotions and can make a big difference in your drawing. But that's why I would use pencil, because if you do too many lines, it might not look exactly like you were thinking. He might look happy, he might look sad, he might look terrified, might look mad. Now I'm going to connect the body. I'm going to make it the shell now. That big hump we got there, it's going to turn into a turtle shell. I kind of go out a little bit and back around to meet at the head, that second arch that we drew on step number 2. So now I'm connecting it all the way around and back up to the head. Now he's got his turtle shell. He or she or they. They've got their turtle shell, and now I can add I kind of made a mistake there, and there's no such things as mistakes in art, just happy accidents. So I turned it by making a couple wrinkles in the neck. If you make a mistake, turn it into a happy accident that makes your art unique. Not everything has to be the same. There are so many different types of sea turtles, so many shapes and sizes of sea turtles, so many different colors. It's all up to you as the artist. If there's something you want to add to yours that doesn't look like mine, you don't even have to ask. That's okay. You're the artist. Now I'm drawing the fins. I'm only going to be able to see 3 fins from this side view of my sea turtle. The back fin, the front fin, and then one of the other side fins. I'm only showing a partial view of this sea turtle because it's swimming through the water. So I'm going to draw 1, 2, and then one more fin is going to go up top. These lines are going to connect to show a belly under there after, but I'm going to get the fins drawn first. I think I'm on step number 9 right now. I even am going to add in a tail after, but first I'm going to show his fin up in the air like they are waving. So I'm going to show one that starts right around about this part of the head, and I'm going to go up and kind of curve around and go back down. Then I've got the fin. Notice my fins are not too thin. They are pretty thick. That way they can get through the water. They're able to swim faster with their thick fins. If they were super tiny, they would have to work extra hard and not be able to get through the water. It's like a big paddle when you're paddling on a stand-up paddleboard or a kayak or a canoe. That paddle is almost like the same shape so it can get through the water fast. Now I'm drawing the tail and the underbelly right there to show the bottom of the sea turtle, and I can connect it all. Now this is where you could probably start using your Sharpie. At this point, I know that I've got the shape and size of my sea turtle down and most of the important shapes. Now it's all up to details and me as the artist to come up with what I want to design it. I can design the shell myself. It's up to you to design your shell and your sea turtle yourself. So you could do any kind of combination of designs, of patterns, of colors. This is where it's up to you. I would suggest outlining all of your pencil lines with a Sharpie marker to really make them stand out. Then I usually use an eraser to clean up my pencil lines and make it look like I just drew it nice and neat with Sharpie, which of course I didn't, because I need practice by a pencil first, then Sharpie. I'm making sure I always erase in the safety zone of my letter L with my opposite hand that I draw with, which I draw with my right, so my opposite's my left, and I make an L with it. I'm going to erase in that safety zone because it makes sure my paper doesn't crinkle or tear. I want to make sure I keep up all my hard work and get something I can take home today. Now, if you are not happy with the sea turtle you just drew, do not worry, you can make another one. But I never want to see art thrown in the trash. It breaks my heart every time I find a paper in the trash can because it shows me that you did not care about your art and that time that you spent practicing. If it doesn't quite look like how you want, you can ask for help. You could look to see how you can make it better or change it. You could use the back. You could add more to it. But we never want to just waste paper by throwing it out. There's very few circumstances where I actually tell my artist to go ahead and throw out a paper and start over. But I'm always reasonable in that you just have to talk to me about it. And sometimes I let you start over on a new paper. Now I'm switching to my fine point Sharpie, that other one with the ultra fine point, so I can do details because I don't want the spots to be super thick like the body was. So I'm drawing these details like the spots on its head, its belly, its shell with that fine point thin Sharpie. You could also skip this step and just go straight to coloring if you wanted to. In your supply bin, you will find some colored pencils and markers. Please just make sure that if you use a combination of both, you always take care of your supplies and put them back where you found them. Or actually leave it better than you found it. So markers, put the cap on and make sure you hear the click. Return them back to their box after. And your colored pencils, make sure that you leave them sharpened, not broken, and back in their box as well. I'm going to use a combination of both markers and some colored pencils. Because if you color the whole thing in with marker, sometimes those colors are too dark and you lose important details. Like if I were to color the whole thing in with a green marker, I might lose some of my important details that I drew, like the spots. So I'm going to do a combination of both. I drew some of the spots with marker, and now I'm going to go with a colored pencil and color the body because I can move faster with a colored pencil and cover more space or area to color faster. All right, artists, I cannot wait to see your sea turtles. They don't have to be realistic. You can make it any theme you want. You can make it any game character you want. You could add accessories to it. You could turn it into something completely different. As long as it started out with this space and you drew with me, I cannot wait to see what you create and your own unique sea turtles. The more that you personalize it, the better. It's awesome when I get to see your art showing what you like and your interests. That is what art is all about, expressing your feelings, your interests, what you care about. And I can't wait to see that in your art this year. If you finish early, you are welcome to draw another one on another sheet of paper, Or you can just free draw whatever you would like to with your extra time. When you do free draw, you can use any of the supplies in your bin and your box as long as you put it all back the way you found it or better. Or you could use a whiteboard and a whiteboard marker. If you decide to use a whiteboard and a whiteboard marker, please make sure that your normal supply bin is put back on your cart. There is a big reason. That reason is because a lot of the time, my students get confused between a whiteboard marker, which has an eraser on the top, and a Sharpie marker, which is permanent and will ruin the whiteboard. Please make sure that you put away your Sharpies before you take out your whiteboard located on the top shelf of your cart. And don't forget that before you get free time, you need to make sure that you've written your name and class code, as well as something you look forward to doing or wish you could do or want to learn about in art this year on your card. Have fun, artists!